wanted to record a super quick video for you guys talking about what it's actually like getting into high ticket closing. There's a lot of misconceptions as to what it's actually like, but there's really two phases that I went through personally getting into it. Number one was part time, and then number two was full time. So, number one, part time was actually very simple. So, if you can imagine, doing maybe a sport after school or playing video games or hanging out with friends, the same way you put in 1, 2, 3, 4 hours into something like that, consistently every single day. High ticket closing part time is pretty much the same. So it's a case where you'll come home, you will oftentimes do outbound closing, so you're doing dials, you're reaching out to people, and it's mentally tough, but it's also not that bad because you're doing something else with your time. Maybe you're in university or college, or you're working 9 to 5 like I was, and it's not that bad, right? But this really allows you to get a taste of what it's like to be on the phones, right? If you want a really good way to understand whether or not you want to do sales and if it's for you, doing outbound part time is one of the best ways to do it, because I think it really allows you to feel what it's like on the calls without committing too much to it first. However, that's aspect one. Once you finally get to a level where you're closing deals part time, oftentimes if you're working for an agency or just some kind of offer, they're probably going to want you to go full time because you're good, and you yourself know you can earn more money if you go full time and you spend more time doing it. So once you transition to the full time, this is where it's very, very different. So if you can imagine, playing a game, right? Like let's say soccer or baseball or whatever, football, and you start off the game with 0-0, right? And there's no guarantee you win. You know you're going to show up, you're going to give it your all, but it's very possible you tie, you lose, you get blown out completely, right? That is exactly what it kind of feels like to do closing full time. So you wake up in the morning, you might be excited. So I'm just going to keep playing with my hair because it looks kind of funny. But that's really what it's like. The exact same way how you have no guarantee when you play sport, it's the exact same thing with sales. So you wake up in the morning and you're in the office or you're at home, and you're ready for the day, but you don't know if you're going to close deals, right? Like, you know you can give it your best and it's very likely you'll do good, but there's also no guarantee. And that's one thing you have to be mentally prepared for, right? When you go to a 9 to 5, you know for sure you're going to put in your 8 hours, your 9, 10, 11, 12 hours, and you will be paid. It's not like that with closing. I mean, there have been days where, even recently, and especially at the start, there's 0 days. You put in 10, 12, 11, 12 hours. I went backwards there, but you put in that kind of time and you don't get paid at all, right? You don't close a single deal. You don't get paid anything. And if you're in 100% commission, which most, high ticket closing is, you won't make a dollar, right? And that's mentally very tough, especially if you have bills, especially if, you have people you provide for. For me, that was the case, right? I help out with bills, so it was tough, but having maybe something on the side that earns you money, if it's online as well. I did UGC on the side online, right? Making videos with my phone. And I got paid retainers for it, but also maybe like I worked also as a waiter or technically busboy for a couple of months just to make sure I can pay the bills. I highly recommend doing that, taking just, 10, 20, 30 hours a week, finding time to make sure you make your money from some kind of stable job while putting in as much time as possible into closing. And then that's when you really start to see your skill just skyrocket. And what ends up happening is, I mean, there are days where, I'll even remember we had the guy from Italy, Francesco, come, and he was, pretty new in the office, but and closing in general. And I remember that one day him and I were just getting to know each other. We were friends a couple of days. And I had a day where I closed $10,000 US worth of deals, two $5,000 deals, and then a 500. That's $10,500 in revenue at 10% commission. You can do the math, $1,050 US made plus bonus, right? But that's not guaranteed. That's a lot of money to make in one day, right? And I think I worked maybe 9 or 10 hours that day, right? It's more money than some of you guys will make in a week, maybe in 2 weeks. I don't know what you guys do, but it really is a game of highs and lows. And I think one thing that I've learned about business in general is that there are no guarantees, right? I talk to a lot of prospects who ask, Michael, what are the guarantees with this business? Getting started with all sorts of different things. There are no guarantees, right? And if you want to get into something that you know for sure will pay you no matter what you do, don't do high ticket closing, don't do sales, don't get into business, right? You really have to earn your way. And that's why I believe, having a competitive mindset is so important, right? You got to be willing to really work hard, and on days where you don't perform, You gotta suck it up, right? Like today wasn't a great day for me. You gotta suck it up, come home, rest up, get your mind straight, wake up tomorrow and do it again, and over and over and over. And you might do it for a month and be tired and realize that's just the start. 1 year, I'm not even 1 full year into, I'm 8 months, almost 9 months now into closing. I feel like I'm brand new. I'm learning every single day. The point is, what it's really like is like playing a game, right? You got to work as hard as you can. You got to score your goals. You got to defend. You got to wake, and you got to make sure the next game you're back on it. And the game after you're on it, you're practicing. You're giving it your all. This is like a sport, right? And if you're someone who's really looking to change your life, right? If you're a young guy, if you're a young girl, if you're even in your 20s, 30s, 40s, and you really want to work hard and change your life, sales is one of the best opportunities for you because you can really earn it, right? No one can take that away from you. I don't care what offer you're on. I don't care what you're doing. You can really earn it, right? And in the worst case scenario, if you're on an awful offer, you'll still develop your skills. You'll close a couple deals and maybe move to another one, right? If you have even the worst networking skills, you could probably land a couple interviews and get another offer that's better, right? But no matter where you go, no matter what you do, you will always be faced with other guys competing with you on the same offer, on the same contract, say it's selling a similar product or service, right? And you got to outperform them, or you got to be trying to outperform them at the least. So for you, I recommend if you're, let's say, a guy who's thinking about getting into high ticket closing, I ask myself, am I ready to go through that toughness, right? And I'm not trying to scare you away or make it sound tougher than it is. There are amazing days where just everything is flowing. You're saying the words beautifully, perfectly, and people are just buying. But there are days where you're doing all the best you can and trying so hard and nothing closes and you can't make money, right? And that's really what sales is like. I decided to do it, and there's not been, I don't think, a single day where I've truly regretted it, right? But for you, before you commit to something like this, before you go all in, ask yourself, are you ready to go through that? And if you are, go all in. Don't hold back. Don't give it 50%. Don't give it 100%, right? And that's how you're going to reward it the most. I think risk takers are the ones who also get rewarded the most. We've seen this throughout all of history, right? When you have the skin in the game, Nassim Taleb talks about it. You need skin in the game if you want to achieve any kind of glory, any kind of results, any real change in your life, in your family's life, in your friend's life, in the world, right? There's always risk involved, right? And if you're mentally ready for that, the world is yours. And if you're not, don't even start, right? That's really what I want to leave you with. If you guys have any more questions about high ticket closing, feel free to comment, right? I'm going to drop down my Instagram and my TikTok below. Feel free to DM me on there as much as you guys want. Follow me as well. Follow this YouTube channel, subscribe, because I'm going to be posting here more often. It's going to be mostly raw, uncut videos, really just talking to you about what's on my mind and what kind of value I think I can provide. I think it's a very rewarding skill, and if you're a hustler and you're ready to work hard, you can be paid very well. You can feel really good about what you're doing and know that you're setting yourself up for a career and developing a skill that's going to last you a lifetime. All right, that's it, guys. Good night. I got to go to bed. Otherwise, I'll be seeing you in the next video. Bye.